Whether you're debating Velcro versus laces, or if the United States federal government should enforce antitrust regulations on technology giants, if you want the judge to give your team the win, you have to present a convincing case for your side, be able to defend your case against your opponent's criticism, be able to identify and describe the weaknesses in your opponent's case, and explain to the judge why he or she should decide the debate in your favor. Each team presents its case during its constructive speech, a team's first speech. Most importantly, in your constructive, you'll lay out the main reasons why the judge should give your side the win. These main reasons are called your contentions. Commonly, a case will comprise 3 main contentions that the team will support and defend in an attempt to win. We've already watched a video on research, so now it's time to take the information and evidence you found and develop great contentions. Let's use the example of the resolution, bowling should be the national sport of the United States. Commonly, in a debate tournament, you must be prepared to debate both the pro and the con sides of the topic. So after your research, you'll probably have lots of good reasons for both the pro and con side, but you'll want to narrow them down to what you feel to be the 2 to 3 most convincing reasons why bowling should and shouldn't be the national sport. In the research video, we talked about using individual sticky notes to arrange and rearrange your arguments and evidence into unique, sensible contentions. Similar arguments will often be grouped under the umbrella of a larger contention as subpoints of that contention. Each contention, and often subpoint, is made up of 4 parts: tagline, argument, evidence, and impact. Let's start with taglines. To illustrate this concept, let's say that you're debating the pro side of bowling should be the national sport of the United States, and you've found information about the positive effects that bowling has on muscle development, heart health, and mental health. You could make each of these arguments a subpoint of a contention about health effects of bowling. Your tagline is simply a 1-sentence or sometimes 1-word version of your contention. Think of it like a well-designed billboard, short, simple, and memorable as you drive past. A good tagline might sound something like, "Bowling is good for health." If your contention has subpoints, you'll move straight to the tagline of your first subpoint after giving the tagline of your contention. So, for my first contention, bowling is good for health. Subpoint A, muscle development. If your coach were to ask you to describe your case in 1 sentence, you should be able to weave your taglines into a single simple sentence. Your pro sentence might be, bowling is a healthy, inclusive sport that can be played anytime. Your con sentence might be, bowling is dangerous, unpopular, and expensive. If you can clearly describe your entire case in 1 sentence, it's easy to stay on track throughout future speeches in the debate, ensuring that you continue to support your contentions each time you speak. So that's taglines. Now let's talk about arguments. Your argument comprises the points you'll be making in support of your tagline. An argument can be as short as 1 sentence or possibly a little longer if more explanation is necessary. For example, let's say the first subpoint of your contention, bowling is good for health, is muscle development. Your argument could state that multiple studies have found positive impacts on different muscle groups that occur when you bowl. It's really as simple as that. It's like a summary of the findings of the evidence. Let's talk about evidence. The evidence component of your contention or subpoint is where you get to specify the details that back up your arguments. You'll use specific information or logical analysis to back up your points. So, for example, you might say, in a 2017 University of Anacapa study, bowling regularly was found to result in improved grip strength and stronger bicep muscles. Finally, you've reached the impact component of your subpoint. The impact component is where you'll tell the judge why it matters and what will happen if we do or don't adopt your side of the resolution. Even if you don't start your impact this way, you can think of your impact as beginning with, "This matters because." In the muscle development subpoint example, you could say something like, "Better muscle development matters because it also promotes fitness in other areas, as well as improved self-image. By making bowling the national sport of the United States, we can promote these positive health outcomes to more Americans. There are many qualities that characterize a strong contention, but first among them is good phrasing and organization. If you follow the structure, you can help put yourself and your team at an advantage before the debate even begins. So let's put the contention all together. My first contention is health. Subpoint A, physical health, and as a first subpoint under that, muscle development. Multiple studies have found positive impacts on different muscle groups that occur when you bowl. In a 2017 University of Anacapa study, bowling regularly was found to result in improved grip strength and stronger bicep muscles. Better muscle health is good in itself, but it also promotes fitness in other areas, as well as an improved self-image. This matters because by making bowling the national sport of the United States, we can promote these positive health outcomes to more Americans. A second subpoint, under subpoint A, is heart health. The same 2017 study found that risk of heart attack was reduced by blah, 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 go on. And then you could go into subpoint B, mental health. In a 2019 article in Bowler's Journal, it was found that league play helps with social connectedness, and on and on. My second contention is inclusivity. Subpoint A, all ages. So it goes on. Part of your opponent's challenge will be to respond to all your points. So if you were to simply say, my first contention is that bowling is healthy, my second contention is bowling is inclusive, and my third contention is that bowling is accessible, your opponents only have 3 things to respond to. But by adding subpoints to each of your contention's taglines, suddenly your opponents have a lot more things they need to respond to. And in debate, if they don't respond to one of your points, that point is usually considered won by you. The best subpoints are unique enough to avoid your opponent trying to collapse them into fewer arguments. Fewer arguments, obviously, are easier to rebut. In our example, we separated muscle development and heart health as different enough under the umbrella contention of physical health, but considered mental health unique enough from physical health to make it its own subpoint. Now here's an important caveat about contentions. After your team has presented its case, you may not introduce new contentions into the debate. So you can't be in the middle of your rebuttal or summary and suddenly say, and I also wanted to mention that bowling improves international relations. Judges should disregard new contentions automatically, but you'll probably need to point out instances of this to the judge when you hear your opponent attempt this. You would mention it in your next speech, not during their speech. So, to recap, the body of your case is your contentions. Each contention should be unique, simple to describe, be backed up by evidence, and have an impact that's meaningful. We'll talk more about other components of the constructive speech in another video. Until then, thanks for watching. Access all of our debate training videos at speakersleague.com/debate.